Well, Johnny, I'm so excited to talk to you today. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Now, you are the CEO and co-founder of Homey, and I definitely want to talk about Homey because it's so cool. And it's that one part like blue ocean but industry disruptor. I mean, it's this
Yes.
combination of both of those things. It's like unto itself. I can't think of competitors because it's
Yeah, we really don't have any at this point.
yeah.
I mean, our competitors are the existing companies that have been around for 100 plus years.
But not even them, because let's get into that in a second. Let's
Yeah.
first start with your history, because you have had quite a few successes, Homey being the latest one. Before that, Entrada. You
Yes.
helped grow Entrada, which, if people aren't familiar with Entrada by name, they're familiar with Property Solutions.
Yeah, we rebranded just about 3 years ago to Entrada.
Okay.
For our first 11 years, we were Property Solutions.
And you started that company and you grew it to 100 million?
About 100 million. Yeah, they're a lot larger today.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's we started it out of college, and it was property management software for apartment communities. We helped people move into apartments online, pay rent online. So it was focused on residential apartment communities.
Which at the time was completely unique. Like that's how you identified there was a problem within the marketplace. So tell me a little bit about that, identifying that and deciding right out of college, I'm going to build this thing.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing to see was that people would line up to pay their rent once a month. So whoever the property manager was on site, they'd have to hurry and do the little credit card machine, the little swiper, shank, and then hand them a little receipt.
Mm-hmm.
And students would be frustrated. So we decided to build an online payment gateway so people could pay rent online. And this was 2003, so a lot of people didn't trust the internet. So it took a little while to get people comfortable to pay online by ACH or credit card. And then from there, we built out other solutions. We built marketing websites so people could actually see the apartment, see photos. A lot of those things didn't exist in the early 2000s. So we kind of pioneered a lot of those tools. And then we eventually built out an accounting software tool, renter's insurance, revenue management, just became a one-stop shop for anybody who owned a big apartment community.
You identified this problem, but in the aftermath where you actually have to build it, what was that like? I mean, I can't imagine being that young and thinking, oh, we should definitely do something, but
Yeah,
then setting out and actually doing it.
I still don't know much about programming. So we partnered with programmers who knew how to actually build the idea that we put together. So it was writing a business plan and then helping to just execute on it by building the software. And my role was sales. So I'd go out to these apartment communities, show them our business plan. I had a little flip chart of photos of what the software would look like in the future. So we called it vaporware, that we would eventually build that for them. And we just had to get people to trust us, sign up for it. And then once we delivered something, I helped them implement it. So it was very, we were wearing multiple hats. So I was the sales rep, I was the professional photographer, I was the customer support rep, for the clients. I would tell them, oh, you're going to get a photographer come by and you'll have a support rep. And really that was just me early on. But yeah, we kept growing and we were able to hire and have other professionals come in, take my place.
So the ultimate fake it until you make it.
I think that's the key to success. Yeah, so.
Did you ever think starting out that you would be a business owner and a series of successes? Was
No.
that part of the game plan?
No, I expected to play in the NBA, and still hoping to make it someday. I'm 39. We'll see. But yeah, that was the dream. That was the goal, and didn't work out when I was sitting on the bench my senior year, and I kind of realized I probably wasn't going further than that. So yeah, I had to figure something else out quickly.
So let's just go start a company because that's way easier.
Yeah, I don't know. I was out of college, didn't have a lot of responsibilities, and it seemed like a great opportunity. So it just made sense, and it worked out.
So young students maybe graduating and maybe in a similar position of, I don't really know what I want to be when I grow up still, but I just got this degree. How would you advise them? Would it be just go for it?
Absolutely, yeah. For me, partnering with people who are smart, who you can trust, who are hard workers, that's been the key for me. Entrada wasn't my idea. It was a friend of mine. He had this idea. He asked me to partner with him. Homey, same thing. I had a friend approach me and said, hey, I have this idea. And I thought, yeah, it makes a ton of sense. Let's do it. But yeah, coming right out of school, I think that's the perfect time to take a risk and start a business.
So how do you build like a good tribe of people? Like,
I think to me, I think the number one focus in terms of quality that you look for in an individual, I think, is humility. I think if you know somebody's humble, they're willing to uh, take advice, they're willing to fail and take responsibility, and if they're humble, they're going to be honest. So I think that's one of the key things that I've looked for in partners, and I think hard work, comes second. But you can judge that if somebody's a really good student, they're putting in a ton of time, they're hard workers, or if they're going to school and working part-time. You can judge that as you look at your friends. If you have a buddy who's just playing video games nonstop, you probably don't want to partner with them in business.
right. Yeah. I guess what's that saying where it's the rising tide,
Yeah.
all ships?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're that average of
They all raise.
those that you spend time with. You spend a lot of you give a lot of hours to like sitting on boards and mentoring people. Has that been something that's really been intentional from the start, or has it just been you've just been approached?
Yeah, I've been approached and just asked to help out, and I think any of us that sit on boards or mentor, I think what we do is we know what not to do. I think that's the best value add that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do this.
Yeah.
These are things you should avoid. But I had mentors. People came and helped me all the time. I requested meetings with a lot of different people, asked their advice, asked people to hear business pitches or new software ideas, and so many people gave their time to me. So it makes sense to kind of return the favor.
Yeah, pay it forward. Now, Homie, I am so excited about Homie. So first, tell me, I already know, but tell me, Homie is?
Homie is a real estate software system where you can buy a home. You can search online, find any home that you want, schedule an on-demand tour so you can go see it, and then come back from the comfort of your own home. You can make an offer. And then we have agents that will help guide you through the negotiation process and walk you through all the paperwork. And on the sell side, if you go to sell a home, you can list it online, and we market it to all the major websites. We help you get offers, and then we have agents that are at our headquarters that then help you negotiate and help you with all the paperwork, understand everything there. And we're also a loan company, so now we're offering loans. And our goal is to automate the home buying and selling process all the way to title and escrow.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to jump around to all these different providers and pay so many different fees. It's so expensive right now.
So it saves the buyer and seller time, a lot of money in fees.
Yep.
But I mean, what else is there? What are all these benefits?
I think when people are looking to sell their home or buy a home, they make the decision, should I hire an agent or should I do it myself? And the reason why they look to do it themselves is because they want to save thousands of dollars. Traditional agents have charged around 6% commission. So on a $300,000 home, that's $18,000. And with homes selling in a day or two here in this market,
Mm-hmm.
You're giving away $18,000 for a day or two's worth of work. And it just doesn't make any sense. So people think, well, I'm just going to try it on my own. But you actually do need some assistance. There are some difficult circumstances that can pop up. So we just charge a very minimal fee to let people sell their home through us. We do all the marketing. We get them home value reports. We publish their home on all the marketing websites. And then it's that realtor and attorney assistance on the paperwork that most people need help with, and the negotiation. So that's really where the bulk of our service comes from. We've automated a lot of other pieces so that we can charge a small fee. So for a small fee, they do that versus paying that $18,000. And then buying a home, most people find homes on their own today.
Right.
Or,
I prefer to.
Yeah, you prefer to look on Zillow, Trulia, KSL, whatever
Yeah.
website. People are now coming to Homey to look for homes too, but when people do that, they then typically tell their agent, show me this home. These are the 5 homes I want to see. Back in the day, you couldn't see all the homes that were available, so you had to hire an agent so they could tell you where all the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes were. But that's already changed, but the fee structure hasn't changed. So that's where we're coming in saying, look, you're doing a lot of the work buying the home. Let us help you the rest of the way, and then we'll collect that commission and we rebate that to you at close. So you can use that money to cover closing costs, buying down your interest rate, and then you can get a loan through our sister company, Homey Loans. And we undercut everybody there too. So there's just so much opportunity to save the client thousands of dollars and still make money as a business.
So where has this been? Why did no one else come up with this before now?
I think that's a billboard idea that we've been stewing on, like the way it should have always been.
Yeah. I mean, if you think, I remember when you came here and you talked to, I work with a bunch of millennials.
Yeah.
So for them, the way they're looking at everything that we've done traditionally, it's like, well, that doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I mean, the fees are huge, but just the whole industry's messed up. 6% commission, there's misaligned incentives just in being commissioned to sell your home or commissioned to help you buy a home. Naturally, you want to have them buy the highest price home so you get the highest commission. Just a lot of things this industry that exist in this industry are just messed up. So we're getting rid of that through automation, and we're lowering the fees. This should have been in place for years, but that's where it's a great opportunity for us to start.
You mentioned your billboards.
Yeah.
Your billboards, I love it. They're all stacked and they're super creative and fun. Was that like something you knew you needed to launch with? Because you're educating someone on something brand new to the marketplace.
Education is key to our existence. Yeah, there's about 18,000 agents, I believe, here in Utah. There's 40,000 agents in Phoenix where we have offices there too. And everybody tells you that it's free to buy a home. Hire me and it's free. But in reality, when you go to buy a home and you bring me with you, you're basically forcing that seller to pay me $9,000 on a $300,000 home. So I'm going to tell you it's free because the seller pays, but you're kind of forcing that person to do it by bringing an agent. So we have to get over that hump in education. So we try to let people know the costs on the billboards. We try to be a little edgy, and billboards have been very effective for us. But we've been doing a lot of social media, a lot of other avenues that have helped us too. Yeah,
I feel like I see Homey everywhere, and anyone I mention Homey, they're like, oh yeah, I've seen, and they name paid ads, they name the billboards always, because purple, they're right there.
Yeah.
And they're just fun. Like, they're fun to see.
Yeah, we have a blast putting them together. So
I love it. Now, in terms of, you're focused on first the Utah market. You said Phoenix. Is there plans to just like unroll this into all the other markets?
Yeah, we want to go nationwide as soon as possible, but it's that education piece that costs a lot of money. So billboards are expensive, radio is expensive, TV, digital marketing. It's just letting people know that homes sell quickly, and you can do it through us with agents. So it's not the choice of, should I hire an agent? Should I do it myself? You don't have to sacrifice both, because we have agents and we'll save you all that money. So that's the message that we're trying to get out to the public. And a lot of people, with that many agents here in Utah and Phoenix where we are so far, we all have friends and family that we're related to that have their license. They might not be full-time agents, but everybody knows somebody. And so we have to overcome the old education and let people know that we're actually selling homes 6 days faster than the top 50 brokers here in the state. We're getting the highest price home for our clients. The metrics are just a step ahead everywhere along the way because we're a software company. We measure all the data. We can see exactly where we stand. Huge. So it's actually a better experience, and you're saving thousands, which is kind of the no-brainer. And that's just where we want to tell everybody, anybody and everybody, but it costs money to do that.
And you mentioned your real estate agents are closing. What was the number they're closing?
They're closing about 130 transactions per year per agent.
And on average, a real estate agent might close six in their book of business. Because I could see that where maybe some, within the real estate, the traditional would be like, well, you're taking away my job. You're taking away my livelihood. But really, you're providing even more opportunities for them as well.
And we're hiring. Yeah, and we're continuing to look for other agents that have licenses. Being an agent is really difficult. If you only do 6 deals a year, that means you're only doing one every 2 months. So you're cold calling and prospecting for 2 months to get one deal. That's incredibly difficult. And it's a tough job. There's no question it's a tough job. But we've dissected the role of the agents. We have a team that lists your home, that markets it, a team that just does contracts and negotiations. So they specialize in this, knowing all the best practices and tips on how you should negotiate or how you should, price your home initially so that you can get into a bidding war. So there's some really cool things that our teams are doing by being specialists. But yeah, we have licensed agents that have been in the industry for decades, and they're really fantastic. So we're continuing to look for more people to bring into our company.
So you launched officially in, was it 2015?
Yes.
And I mean, you've grown a lot, but what I think is interesting is that you're doing managed growth. Like, you're not just trying to like open up every single market. What do you look for in that data that you collect in terms of, okay, we're now ready for this, the next level or the next market?
Yeah, I mean, when we started, we wanted to go nationwide, and,
Right.
and my mom lives in South Carolina, and she's like, get here, I'm buying a home now.
If mom asks,
Yeah,
kind
I
of.
agree. Yeah, it's like we just got to do it now. But the thing is, we had to be disciplined to build out the right software to be able to automate as much of the process as possible so that we could lower the cost. And we had to figure out customer service and make sure that experience, that we nailed it. So when we first started, we couldn't list homes onto the MLS, and that's where most agents look for homes. So a lot of our clients weren't getting as much traffic as they wanted or that they could with a regular agent. So we stayed here in Utah on purpose to nail the software, nail the customer experience, and we feel like we've done that. And so that's where we've decided now to move on to Arizona. Again, it takes money to educate, so we've raised a round of funding in order to open up Arizona, and we'll be doing that as we open up multiple metros. So our next raise, we're hoping to open up multiple major metros all at once, and then eventually be nationwide.
So the same model, does it apply in every single market?
It applies in every single market. That's what's crazy. I mean, especially in Phoenix. In Phoenix, homes are selling so quickly. I mean, anything that's in $250,000, $300,000, they're selling in a matter of days, weeks. And thinking about that again, I don't know what profession makes $18,000 in a matter of days. And in reality, you just need to take photos, put the home online, price it well, and market it. And we know how to market the home. So there's some cool things there. And then having that expertise from lawyers and agents that'll help you through the paperwork. That's the same thing in Arizona. That's what people want.
Mm-hmm.
California, Texas, Florida, all these states, it's identical. And that percentage has stayed about the same. 5 to 6% has been the same for decades. And home prices have just continued to go up.
Say proportionally in California, they're like saving 5 to 6% is a huge sum of money.
It's huge here where home prices aren't as high. But yeah, in California, it's just absurd.
Yeah, here's
So-
my 2-bedroom, but it's also like whatever,
$600,000.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. So that's a huge amount. Now, you were named as one of the coolest entrepreneurs, top 10 coolest entrepreneurs in 2017 by Utah Valley. Now, you've had a lot of like accolades. I'm sure people watch what you're doing, where you're going. Do you ever feel any pressure?
Oh, nonstop.
Not so.
Yeah, I mean, I want to succeed. I want to have, I want the company to grow quickly. I want it to expand. Yeah, and I want to be a good representative, to my family as well. So yeah, there's a ton of pressure. But yeah, I mean, some of those accolades, I don't think I'm deserving of. Yeah, I'm definitely not the coolest one. My kids would tell you that's not the case.
We have it in print, so it must be true.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned humility is kind of what you look for in
Yeah.
characteristics of people, but how do you remain humble? Because seriously, right out of the gate, you've had a success that was pretty. I mean, people work their whole lives for something like that, and then with Homey, I mean, you're pacing hot enough that it's just going to be the other like big success.
Yeah.
How do you maintain?
Yeah. How am I so humble?
How are you
Let's see.
so humble? Like you come in and you're just casual, cool, and
My wife, helps me all the time. When that article came out, she's like, "You're not cool. Don't let it go to your head." But I think of this spectrum, and there's a spectrum of, there's a lady who teaches this on connectionsclassroom.com, but it's a spectrum of being less than and being better than. So if you have insecurities, if you have fear of building a business, you're unsure of yourself, then you're in that less than camp. I'm not good enough. I can't. I don't know how. On the other spectrum, it's I'm better than. Of course I can do this. I can do it alone. I'm the smartest person in the room. But the reality is the middle is that I'm enough and that I'm capable. And that's actually humility. Humility is actually confidence. It's knowing you're enough. It's not better than, but it's not less than. And so that scale is what I try to continue to think about. Like anybody, I think I go through insecurities, depressions, any little pieces, and I got to get myself out and realize, you know what? I'm capable. I'm enough. I can do this. And that's humility. But, going above, like I'm way smarter than the next guys, or, the old industry is stupid, going down that path. It's putting yourself on a higher pedestal. So that's, and my wife and I talk about that nonstop. So she helps me stay grounded for sure.
You assume though that like that's where people are successful. That bravado is what carries them through. But
yeah,
the way you just said it is super powerful. I'm enough.
Yeah.
Moving on.
And I think if you look at all of your coworkers, like we're all equal.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever race, whatever gender, like we're all equal. We're all enough, and that's how I see it. Like everybody at every company, you were amazed. You talked about the ships all rising together. That's the thing. There's different people that have different skill sets, and they're enough. They're not better than you. They're not less than you. They might have other talents that you don't have, but that shouldn't make you feel insecure. You have other talents that they don't have. But coming together with bringing out all those talents together, that's where you can build something really special. So I think, those are the people that I look up to. I just mentioned I had a lunch at an event where Mitt Romney was. I feel like he has a really good balance of that. Very down to earth, relatable,
mm-hmm.
confident, which is, humility, all of those things together. I don't feel it's, he answered every question, talked to everybody equally, looked at everybody equally. I think that's where I see the real leaders that are having success. They're not putting themselves above, being a one-man show, taking all the credit. My partners and our employees are the ones who have made my businesses successes.
So when it comes to hiring and firing process, tell me a little bit about like your system for finding good people, retaining them, but also cutting them loose if it's not a good fit.
Yeah, I think it comes down to those values. So we have a set of values as a company. Humility is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
We at Homey, we have different names for it. So that's check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Like it.
We try to have memorable value names. But yeah, if people come in, typically we ask, well, why are you looking for a new job? What happened to your old job? And if they tend to bash their employer, we know, might not be a good fit for us. If they take the high road and they say, look, this is what I learned at my last company. And I appreciate what I gained from it, but it's time for me to move on. Those type of answers, it's like that guy or that woman, I want them.
Mm-hmm.
Because most likely there were things that you can say bad about your last company. There's plenty of things people can say bad about me and my management leadership. But I think taking that high road is always the best approach. And then I think beyond that, setting expectations. So helping people, when they come in, asking them, what do you want to be? Who do you want to get? What role do you want to have eventually in your career? Where do you want to go? And if you don't have that fit as they're with you over a period of time, helping them to understand that if they graduate to a certain position and that position's not available anymore, that you'll help them find that elsewhere. And just having that open dialogue, I think, has been extremely beneficial for us. So if somebody's looking, I've asked them to be transparent and say, tell me, like, if you're looking great, I'll be a reference for you. Just keep me posted. You've given your life to us so far for this last year. It's been awesome. But if you're looking around, I'd rather know than not know and be caught by surprise and only have 2 weeks notice. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of been our approach at our companies.
Now, in terms of you've been in a lot of startup situations, scale up, ramp up, scale up, and I imagine those take a lot of weekends and nights and just a lot of hours invested into these things. How do you keep, I wouldn't say the work-life balance, because we don't really talk about that here. We talk about the harmony, the work-life harmony.
I think that makes sense, yeah.
How do you ensure that as a focal point. I imagine your wife plays another, like, really good about here's your North Star.
Yeah, I mean, when I started Homey, when I left my last company, I kind of was on cruise control. I had all these people that were working for me, and they were doing everything, and I was more, the face to the company. I went around to conferences and just met with our high-profile clients, but it was an easy job. But when I wanted to do a startup, that's what she said. She said, I don't want to lose my family, or I don't want to lose my husband. I don't want you to lose your family if you do a startup. So she set expectations and said, this is what I want. And we agreed to them. So we came to an agreement on what that would look like. But we also talked about seasons. There's certain seasons, like I'm fundraising right now, super busy. I'm traveling like crazy. So she knows that there's times and seasons in businesses where you're not going to be with the family. You're going to have to work nights and weekends. You're going to have to do some of those things. But for the most part, I think you can find a pretty healthy balance, but I think it's all about communication with your partner.
I like her.
She's amazing. She is. Yeah.
Well, I think in that article you said that, like, your biggest break was meeting your wife.
Every day I think that. Yeah, she's honestly, she doesn't have a degree. When I married her, she was going to school, but then she wanted to have a baby, and so she didn't finish college. But during work, I call in around noon to check in, and then when I go home, she asks about my day, and I ask about her day. But she has so much input on our company, and she's helped me, part ways with people. She's helped me figure out who to hire if I'm debating between a couple people, or whatever big challenges we have. She's had such a huge voice. And again, thinking of being enough, she doesn't have a degree, so does that mean she's less than? Or she's a stay-at-home mom, is she less than? But the truth is, she is enough, and she's capable, and she has her own talents. And I can't believe the advice she's given me. And that's where it's been. I don't think any of my own partners really know how much she has an influence on the company.
Well, I mean, they talk about business. Everyone that I've talked to in these mastermind interviews, they talk about business in terms of people. It's a people, it's a communication, it's a understanding partnership, understanding human dynamics, understanding, like, just empathy.
Yeah,
so
empathy's huge.
If she embraces all of those,
Yeah.
she would be an amazing counselor in terms of, like, here's a perspective maybe you didn't consider because you're inside of it.
She's an advisor for sure. And the way that she runs our family too, it's very business-like. We have values, we have meetings, we plan ahead, and try to have goals as a family. So, I mean, a lot of similar things. I don't think it's any different. But yeah, she's been amazing in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, technically your family is another business.
It is, yeah.
She's CEO.
Yeah, every employee, that's where she tells me, she said, you need to spend time with this employee, My little boys, they're going to work for us and hopefully make us some money, with some lemonade stands or whatever. But my little boys, she tells me, you need to spend some extra time with this person. You need to go, show them some love and have a little one-on-one with them. So I think it's similar at work. If someone's not getting attention or the appreciation that they deserve, that they need, that can make it really tough.
That's awesome. I think that's a great example of, like, you're building businesses, but you know what? You still have this life that is meant. I mean, that really is the thing that you carry with you, right? After
that's all any of us care about.
Pass the reins off. Now, in terms of leadership, what keeps you up at night?
Well, right now, I mentioned I'm fundraising, so we're trying
many things,
we're trying to make that happen, and we're pitching to all these guys that we're automating the realtor. We are realtors, but we're automating it to where we can do 130 transactions per realtor versus the 6 that are normally done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's never been done before, so it keeps me up at night, trying to pitch to these guys and let them know, look, we've become the #1 broker in the state in total listings. We're selling homes 6 days faster, as I mentioned. We've saved Utahns $23 million in commissions that's gone back into their pocket. So we try to think of all the best points in order to share. So that's what's keeping me up at night currently, and just making sure we execute, close our funding and continue to move forward with the company. But yeah, there's a million things that continue. And we all have personal lives that we have to deal with
Right.
ongoing too.
Right. That's an amazing balance. So maybe talk to us about a lesson that you learned from a time where it seeming failure, maybe in your life.
Yeah, I think I think there's a million for all of us. I think that's what business is you fail, but the more successful you are is you fail quickly and figure it out. So I mentioned early on, we didn't list our clients' homes on the MLS, and that's where most agents look for homes. And most people hire agents to buy a home because they think it's free. And so we had to get our homes on the MLS. So that was one thing we failed at, and we made a change. So now everybody has that. We were really focused on automation. So we were kind of a email text only system. But our clients, our first-time home buyers and home sellers, they needed assistance. So we switched to having assigned agents to each client. So now you have somebody you can call at any hour of the day to help you. And that's been a huge benefit to our clients. So that there's little failures all along the way that you just keep trying to figure out better and better solutions. And you know, my favorite quote that kind of ties to this comes from the movie The Martian. I don't know if you've seen that movie. With Matt Damon, he's stuck on Mars. But after he makes it back home in a classroom setting, everybody's just all ears, like, how'd you make it back? Because he figured out how to make it back to Earth by himself, basically. But he said, you just do the math. You solve one problem, and then the next, and then the next. And if you solve enough problems, you get to come home. And what you're solving for are those little the failures, the little areas that need to be solved. And I think that's just a constant challenge you have at any business.
I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs think, well, I need to build the complete machine before I go live with this. But I think the ones that are most successful and kind of what you're talking about, like solving problems and editing along the way and just new iterations, is that first viable product. And then you develop from there, because even with Homey, you're saying that the loans offering and that whole solution it came later.
Yeah.
It was not part of that first thing. So speak more to that.
Yeah, so our goal initially was to automate the entire process, automate the realtor, automate the loan officer, automate everything so that the consumer can just save a fortune and make it a better experience than what exists. So it's a lot to take on. Mm-hmm. So we started with just automating the agent. And what we were doing is we were recommending our clients to certain mortgage companies that we thought were the top partners that we could introduce them to. But we got client feedback that they wouldn't get calls back, or that they weren't being taken care of. And so we saw all of these people kind of falling through the cracks, and we thought, man, we can just build this ourselves and save them thousands of dollars. So on our loans, we guarantee the lowest rate, or we'll give you $500 if you find a lower rate than us. So because we don't have high paid commissioned loan officers, our realtors just recommend our clients go over to Homey Loans and save additional thousands. So it's more just a handoff than it is a hard sale. Mm-hmm. And people can still choose to go anywhere they want, but we try to make it such a no-brainer. So that was one of the solutions, the failures that we were having, clients telling us they didn't have a good experience with the mortgage company we sent them to. So we solved it by doing it ourselves. And we have a 5-star rating on Homey Loans, on Google reviews. You know, we want to just baby that client. And I think a lot of people have been forgiving of any failures or mistakes we've had because we are relatively new, but mostly because we're saving them thousands of dollars. They're a lot more lenient in that sense, but we really do have a huge focus on responsiveness. That's one of our key performance indicators, and Net Promoter Score, which is client experience in surveys. Like, we want to make sure our clients love it. So those are two of our top metrics that we track as a company.
That makes sense. The whole experience economy, that book about, you know, you have to provide not just good customer service, but, you know, delight them.
Yes.
At every step within that process. So Homey seems like they found kind of the sweet spot for that.
Yeah, I mean, to sell a home, we charge about roughly $2,000, and, you know, in comparison to the $18,000. So, but all those clients, what we found is they expect perfection. They expect you to do your job even though they're getting a huge savings. So that's what we feel we've solved, that you can have as good, if not better, of an experience for a low cost. But it is, everybody wants a good customer experience, especially with homes where that's your highest purchase.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the most expensive asset you'll ever buy, most likely, or that you'll ever sell. So gaining that trust comes from good reviews, testimonials of people that have tried it, used it, and enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I would say with homes, there's so many opportunities to have a really bad experience.
Yeah.
And then what most people think of home buying, I bought a few houses, but there's stress. There's there's real crunch time, and you have to like go through each next level to it. So that's when I saw it was again that question of like, where's this been?
Yeah. Yeah, and if you think,
Johnny, I needed this like
I know,
10 years
I know.
ago. Where you been?
Where have we been? That's what I've been asking myself. I mean, we can't grow fast enough.
Mm.
That's the challenge. But yeah, I mean, if you think of what an agent does, an agent, again, cold calls for most of their time just to try to drum up business. Then when they bring you on as a client, a lot of them take the photos of the home and then they publish those online, and then they install the yard sign with their picture on it. And then they help you negotiate. And that one person has to be a jack of all trades. And the likelihood of something going wrong when you're a jack of all trades in all those different areas is extremely likely.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we thought, with what we're doing, building out teams of specialists, we can guarantee consistency. Instead of saying, yeah, like I loved my realtor, they were great at negotiations, but their marketing was horrible. They had a big glamour photo of themselves on my yard sign. You know, I hardly had any traffic, but they were really nice.
Mm-hmm.
They were really kind. You know, and it's tough. It's tough to be an expert in all of those areas. And that's where I say the realtor has a tough job. But that's where it's needed to change and have these teams focused on those different areas, similar to any software company. You know, one person doesn't do the accounting, the sales, the customer service in really any business other than real estate.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked to a lot of friends who are either buying their house for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
or they're going through something like a short sale. They're like, well, I have a friend who is a real estate, maybe they can just help. And my advice is always, you need a team behind you. And to go that way, like you don't hire a real estate agent because of that real estate agent. You hire a real estate agent that hopefully has a team of people that specialize in things, and they pass that off. But with Homey, you get the automation, but you've also like insulated against you get a team. You get a team, you get an assigned agent as well,
Mm-hmm.
somebody there that has that experience to answer questions, but you get a team. And there are plenty of brokerages and agents that do have teams set up, but the fees are still super high. Right. That's where we're taking that to a whole new level by basically, almost making it free to a degree in comparison to what's currently being charged. Well, and the way you've scaled that means that you not only get a team of really great specialists and people who know their stuff, but they have worked on so many transactions. Have they not seen it all?
It seems that way.
Can they not advise you? Like, well, it goes back to here's what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
That's so much more valuable than here, this and that. So.
Yeah, and we actually have a team of attorneys as well.
Mm.
So, it takes a couple weeks to get your license to be a realtor, but it takes 7 years to become a lawyer. And there's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of tricks on contracts and negotiations that our attorneys have helped advise our realtors on. So having that team approach with attorneys and realtors and marketing specialists and all these others, it's just been such a great collaborative effort to make it a great experience.
That's amazing. Now, final question would be what I ask everyone, and it's in terms of legacy. What is it that you, Johnny, want to be remembered for?
I like building people, and I think I talked about it earlier. When people have insecurities or they doubt themselves, it doesn't make any sense. We're all equal, and you're enough in your own realm. You have talents, you're capable. Don't let fear cripple you. Don't let that hold you back. Just go and do. Be confident because you're capable. We all have something unique about us, and so everybody that's at our company, they all contribute in their own way, and they can do things that I can't. And I'm amazed at our programmers. I'm amazed at some of our client service reps. I'm amazed at our marketers. And seeing that, like, I want people to realize that all of us have that ability, that there aren't these people that are better than us. That doesn't exist. There's people that just go out and do because they're humble and have that confidence that they're enough. And that to me, I think, has been something I've tried to share frequently with others.
I love that. That's an extraordinary legacy. Thank you for your time today, and thank you for all of your insights. This has been really, really fun.
Yeah, great to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.